It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman, and this show is brought to you by Audible.com. You go to audibletrial.com /Opperman Report. You sign up for free, get yourself a free audiobook. Tonight, we are live on Talk Superstation. We are live on wolfspiritradio.com. We're live on PSN Radio. awakeradio.us, awakeradio.uk, Scottish Sovereigns on the Land, Awake Radio Australia, Just Us Radio, Shazaz Radio, and 1800 Online. And we're also on Spreaker, Spreaker.com. You can find us over there on Spreaker.com. You can tune right in. And then later on tonight, the show will be instantaneously replayed on iHeartRadio. And the archives will be up on YouTube, once again, instantaneously. Tonight, speaking of instantaneously, we're trying to get a hold of our guest. We have a big show tonight. We have Dave McGowan coming on. But I'm having trouble getting a hold of him. It says that he's online. But when I try and call him up, it's not going through. A little sabotage here, right, with the old technical difficulty situation. But by hook or by crook, we'll get through it all. If not, we can take calls or something like that. Speaking of taking calls, this week, Tuesday afternoon, I'm going to be a guest over at Max Resistance Roundtable. That's their YouTube channel. And then I'm going to be, it's a simulcast on FPRN Radio, which also carries us every day, like 10 a.m. On Eastern Time. We're on the FPRN Radio. They replay our show for us over there. So we're going to be doing that. So keep an eye out for that. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing an interview with Martha Soren. And she's this writer and director. She did this film called The Fall of Paul McCartney. And it's all about, it's another Paul is Dead show. And we've been trying to get this one going for a long time. Unfortunately, our schedules keep mixing up and messing up. Let's see if I can get Dave on the phone. Let's try that. Make some prank phone calls to Dave McGowan. Got his home phone number here. We'll try that. This is actually his cell phone number. It's been ringing a couple of times. See if we can get a hold of him here. Went online a minute ago. It's weird. When I dial his Skype, it says busy. I've never seen that before. I might have to...
lucky you. You've reached Dave with DC Construction. I am unable to pick up right now, but if you leave me a message with your name and number, I will get back to you just as soon as I can. Thank you very much.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Dave. How's it going? We're live on the air. Try and get through to me at 702-605-4894. Okay, I can't get through to your... I see online here, but I can't get through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and reboot. I'm going to try and reboot my Skype here and see if that works. Give that a shot. So call me back. Let's see, closing down Skype. Oh, boy. Well, if you want to call in, 702-605-4894. Yeah, this really sucks because this happened Sunday night, too. I was supposed to be doing a show about that prison escape up there in Denimora, New York. And 2 weeks in a row, there's so much activity going on up there around that prison that our internet connection got blasted. And we couldn't get through to our guest, who actually lives up there right by that prison. And also, her boyfriend or her husband is doing time in that prison right now. And there was some kind of an incident with him where he got the crap beat out of him by these guards over there, these corrections officers, and he has a big lawsuit going on. So hopefully we'll be doing a show with her this weekend as well. While I'm trying to get through to Dave, you guys can call in at 702-605-4894. That is 702-605-4894, and give me a call. Let's see. Well, maybe I'll just play a repeat. You know, see what I could find, because I can see Dave online here, but now he's not online anymore. Sure, I'll try the phone again. Anybody want to call up? 702-605-4894. We could have a chat about something. Let's see. Oh, boy. Well, oh, yeah, one more thing I got going on, too, is, brother. Oh, you guys been following the adventures of this custody thing with me and Vic and her mom. Boy, we thought we had it all figured out and it was all going to be settled. The mother had actually agreed to give us 5 days, and she was going to have 2 days. And she agreed to this with Victoria and with myself. And then they sent over the paperwork yesterday, and it doesn't say that at all. The whole thing is just crazy. Like, I don't know. They just want this to drag on forever until I go crazy. Actually, got no Dave. Got no callers. No one wants to call in. 702-605-4894. Maybe that's not working. Maybe they're trying to call in. It's not working. I want to stay on that page there. Well, it's been 7 minutes. Got nothing to do. Let's see if I can find a show to play. And then we'll just play or repeat. A lot of stuff out there. Hey, the last show with St. John Hunt. Damn, that thing was great, man. We got a lot of action on that thing, man. That was amazing. Let's see, how would I even do this? I would have to add to playlist, I guess, right? Yep, upload from here. Okay, I'll find a show. Hey, how about this? Why don't you guys call in and tell me which show you want me to play? I'm thinking about putting the John Potash show on. He's a cool guy. The show we just did with John Potash. And we'll play that, get that going. Hey, you know what I'll do? I'll put that first over on these guys here, on the live stations on Awake, and then I'll add that later. Let's see, add files. I'll put her on Spreaker in a couple of minutes. Then I'll put her on these guys first. I'll give them the John Potash show. Yeah, look, this is easy. I can do this. Okay. Find the old John Potash, who is the author of what's that thing called? No, it's not in documents. He's the author of the book Drugs Used as a Weapon Against Us. So, let me see if I can find this in here. Where would it be? Oh, sure. Oh, boy. Would be maybe here. Oh, great. Okay, where would this thing be? Okay, it wouldn't be there. Let's see. Nope, don't want that. That's just going to get me in trouble. Whole bunch of shows here. But I can't find one that I want to use. And this is documents anyway. I want downloads. Come on, give me a break here, guys. Yeah, this is very difficult to... I've never used this before. This little portion of the program here. Actually, where would that be? It wouldn't be there. Why can't I pull up downloads? That's where it would be. She's gonna suck. Well, no, he's probably listening anyway. Oh, we got a call coming in. Hey, caller, how are you?
Hey. So, I just was saying, I was just going to say I was very disappointed that the prison thing didn't happen, that show.
Tell me about it.
Interesting show.
I know, and it's really, I don't know, man. It's really fishy going on. And the whole prison thing is so weird to begin with. And I knew they were going to kill these guys. There's no way they were going to let these guys live. That just goes without saying.
I know, because they can't talk, right?
Right, yeah, because there's just so much corruption going on up in that prison up there. It's just not even funny. So there's no way that they could let these guys live.
Hold on, let me just turn off my radio.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it was just like, I heard that the manholes were like covered up, that there was no way that they could have escaped through those manholes. So they had to be, it had to be like from the inside, like someone had to walk them out, right?
Yeah, that's what our guest is pretty much convinced of. That it was some kind of a deal where they were walked out, and I have to agree with it because it's just impossible that no one would hear the cutting, but also too, when they were hiding out at this what do you call it? At this hunting cabin, it turns out that hunting cabin was also owned by correction officers from that place.
It's 15 miles away from the prison, and they just found it now. It just seems like very odd to me. I mean, I guess what seems the strangest thing is that I read on the train, like one of those, I guess in New York we have these free papers, you get while you're like on the train or whatever, and it said that someone on the inside, I guess a prison guard, gave them tools to escape in exchange for snitching, but this is the other thing, and artwork. Now, what is he going to do with it? Is this inmate this like amazing artist?
Yeah, actually, one of those paintings that they were giving away sold on eBay for $2,000.
Oh, so these are like, because they escaped, so it was like a chess move. He thought, well, if these guys escape, they're going to be famous, and then these paintings will be worth something. So that was the motivation for trading paintings for. No,
before they escaped, their paintings were just so good. They were such decent paintings that they were able to sell them on eBay for that much money.
Oh, so you're saying people were buying these things not knowing that the artist was a prisoner.
Right.
And
I don't know if they knew.
Amazing.
Yeah, they were just selling them. Yeah, they were just such nice paintings that they were selling them.
It's not like Manson art or something. There's like that whole business.
Right.
Oh. Well, that's interesting. Kind of hard to believe, but interesting, I guess. And just the whole thing is hard for me to believe, but I was really looking forward to that show, and I thought, well, if her husband's still in the prison, maybe it's not the wisest thing to,
Oh, no. That's what I asked. I said, do you want to use a fake name when you come on? And she says, nope, no way. We have a big lawsuit. And she sent me pictures of the guy all beat up and stuff like that. The guy got the crap beat out of him. I don't know what this guy could have done so badly to deserve the kind of beating that he got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think we should play a repeat. What do you think?
Yeah, which one are you gonna play, the Potash one?
Yeah, I got Potash ready to go. Yeah, I think I just found it. If I could pull it over.
Oh, wait, I have one other thing I'd just like to say
really
quickly. Thank you for saying the other day that this whole I don't know, what do you call it, alternative interest conspiracy community is getting obsessed with like calling everything a false flag and everything some kind of recreated thing with crisis actors. Thank you for saying that, because I was feeling the same way too, that people are going a little bit over the edge with that, where every news story is some kind of created false flag.
And it's not even that, but I saw one posted. I saw one posted. What the heck is this? I saw one posted today that had the whole thing. Oh, these are all crisis actors, and it's all a false flag in order to take away our guns. It's like you know, step by step by step. It's the exact same thing. You know, every single time. Yeah.
The Rachel Dolezal story, the Bill Cosby story. You know, I mean, Bill Cosby's not a whatever, but distractions to distract us away from. You know, all these stories are just distraction. Everything's fake. Everybody's an actor. And I think it's just a byproduct of the internet culture where, you know, things can be so manipulated. But it's getting really out of hand. And things like the flat earth people and, I don't know, they're just just really getting wacky.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. And it's even more disturbing is the people whose work I normally respect are coming up with this crazy stuff. And it's disturbing. You know what I mean?
I mean, but first we had the whole David Icke thing with I hope I'm not insulting anyone who really loves that or believes in that theory, but with the lizard people, we had that, which I felt was just like disinfo, like pushed in there to make us all look crazy. And then, and now it's going to like flat earth and just all these like really whacked out things that are just distractions, kind of
one of the things
distractions.
I can tell you, listen, if people trust David Icke, I can tell you right off the bat, I don't trust this guy at all. Because I know for 100% fact that he puts people on his website, at least, that are total and complete frauds. And then even after he's been warned about it, hey, this guy's a total fake, this guy's a fraud, they just keep doing it. So, I can't endorse that. You know what I mean? But
didn't he think he was Jesus at one point?
Yeah,
didn't he come out originally and say the end of it was like wanted to be a cult leader and failed, and then came out with these books, these conspiracy books,
Yeah. All kind of weird stuff.
Remember the beginning of him when he was like in the orange jumpsuit and like came out on one of those British talk shows and was like, thought he was Jesus reincarnated, which is just like a crazy person. I can't believe anybody buys any of his books or anything that he says. It's just bizarre that he has such popularity. But I think it's just that he makes things very simple. And it's very seductive,
Yeah, I hear you.
I think the truth is a lot more boring than that. There's a lot more boring, unexciting elements.
I'll tell you this, though. One of the things I was hoping to talk to Dave McGowan about tonight is because he did all that work on the Boston bombing,
Mm-hmm.
And, they were saying that today when that guy, Joe Carr, who just happens to rhyme with Joker, from Batman,
Right.
It's so weird. And they said that when he was giving his little speech there, that wasn't even expected, that he was talking in a thick accent.
What?
Yeah, they were saying that suddenly he had some thick accent, and no one's ever heard him with an accent before. And his family was out there protesting in front of the court, the trial, saying that, what do you call it, that wasn't him, it was somebody else.
What?
Yeah.
So it's like someone pretending to be him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boston bombing is about as weird as you can get. With FBI agents getting killed, during the investigations, what supposedly FBI agents had went to these guys' house. Now, just imagine, okay? Because I'm an investigator. When you interview someone, a witness, even though you went and you interview hundreds of people in a year, you remember. You know, because this is part of what you do. It's part of how you make your living. You remember these things. So supposedly, 2 FBI agents had gone to their apartment, which was right around the corner from where this bombing took place. And they were tipped off by the Russians that these guys were dangerous terrorists, Chechen spies, terrorists, right? So now, wouldn't you, if you're these 2 FBI agents, you see this bombing take place, you're called into action, you know, you go through your notes, you know, and say who lives right around the corner.
Right.
Hey, look, here's pictures of these guys. Gee whiz, looks just like the guys. I was in their house. Hey, they were making baked beans all over the house. They had a bunch of pressure cookers. You know, there's a bunch of crock pots all over the house. You'd notice this. You'd say something. You know, it's just insane. The idea that you could interview someone as suspects, you know, and then not remember them when you see them on TV a couple of minutes later, a couple of days later, even a year later. It's just ridiculous.
I know. It's but then they shot his friend in the interviewing him in the back of the head. Remember that part of it?
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, they shot one of the friends because all their friends said no way these guys couldn't have done this.
And they were harassed. A lot of their friends. What I heard was a lot of their friends were harassed. They were immigrant, and they were harassed with deport. And most of them are back in their home countries now because they were so terrified.
You know, we had a first-hand witness tell us with the thing in Ferguson that when the FBI came down to Ferguson and they were interviewing all the witnesses, right? And everyone says, "Oh boy, they should have got a conviction because you know what's his name, Eric Garner, you know." Holder, Eric Holder, you know, he was with Sharpton and these buddies were, and they tried to get everything they could do to get a conviction. What we heard firsthand is that the FBI was going door to door to door in that neighborhood and saying, "Who do you know around here saying they want to overthrow the government? Who do you know around here that could be a dangerous terrorist? Who do you know?" And everyone says, "I don't want a part of any of this. I don't want to talk to anybody after this." It was like a witch hunt down there. So,
wow.
Yeah. Hey, so, if anybody wants to call in, 702-605-4894. This is Tina Cox, right? Our caller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just, you got another call?
No, I was just saying, if anybody else wants to call too.
Oh, okay. What is the purpose of, you know, the Oklahoma City bombing was fishy, the Boston bombing is fishy. What's the purpose, do you think, of these?
That's a good question, but then that's the whole thing. We don't know what the purpose is, which is why we can't jump to conclusions every time something happens and say, not only do we know that it was fake, but this is the reason why it was fake. If we cannot jump to the conclusion that every single thing that they're doing out there is to take away our guns, okay? Because I think if they wanted to take away our guns, first thing they do is they would stop manufacturing guns. You know what I mean? That's the quickest, easiest thing they could do. That's not even, you know, near in the ballpark. And if they can make the stores stop selling Confederate flags overnight, they could easily get a company like Walmart and Kmart to stop selling guns. That's a piece of cake. So,
and the thing with the church. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we do have another call coming in. Let's see who it is. Could be Dave.
Okay.
Hey, we got another caller here. 623. How are you?
Hey, down here in
Bob in Phoenix.
In 109-degree temperature. It's hot. Okay. How you doing today, Ed?
Listen, brother, we were in 111 the other day. Okay.
Oh my God.
And not only that,
100. I
got no car. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I lost my car fighting for custody for my daughter. So we have no car now. So today I walked 6 miles today. Okay.
Oh my.
Yeah, back and forth in this heat. Yeah. But you know, in some ways we're used to it. We're getting used to it. I don't know how. I think I drink a lot of beer. I think that helps. Oh wait, we lost Tina Cox. Hey Tina, call back, okay?
Well, anyway, I wanted to put in 2 cents here on the Boston bombing.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that's being left out of the equation in this little conversation is the connection to what is called Jamestown Foundation. And the foundation is connected to Chechnya. And what it does is that it trains Chechens to go in and fight against your Russians. And what the issue is, it's the issue over oil and the pipeline that they want to in other words, your Western oil companies want to dominate all that area. So there's kind of an indirect connection with the Jamestown Foundation. Does that make sense?
That's interesting. And I tell you something. I watched this movie one time about these Chechens. And by the way, we're trying to get this guest on. He who wrote the book about the Russian 9/11, the apartment building bombings that went on in Russia that were blamed on the Chechens that got Putin into power. That's how Putin got into office. It was the same thing like September 11th here in the United States. And this guy, and there's a documentary about it on YouTube you can find. If you look up the Russian apartment bombings, it's the same thing that would happen here in the United States. Putin, they did this, the KGB bombed these apartment buildings, and they blamed it on the Chechens, and that's how Putin got elected. And when 9/11 happened here, the first person to call George Bush was Vladimir Putin, who called up Bush and said, I know exactly how you feel. Because the same thing happened, supposedly the same thing happened to him. But they got busted red-handed. They caught the KGB agents planting the bombs. Now, I watched this documentary once about these Chechens, right? And it was so freaking intense. These Chechens, man, they do this stuff over there where they take entire schools hostage, over 300 kids in a school. They took a movie theater hostage, and then they get into these big giant shootouts with the cops. But the Russians, when they would fly over and bomb the Chechens, were so afraid of these guys that they would scrape the serial numbers off their planes before they would fly the mission, because the Chechens would, if they could shoot them down, they would track down the serial number on the plane, find the pilot's family, and go to Russia and kill their family. That's how freaking intense these guys are. Then they were interviewing this guy, right? And they said there's this thing they do over there. They have these vendettas that if they're turned on, that they go after you and they kill you. And what they do is they take a handprint and they put a handprint over their mantelpiece of the fireplace for everyone that they kill. And they're interviewing this guy, right? And then they pan to the back of his fireplace. There's like 1,000 handprints over this guy's fireplace. It was the scariest thing I ever saw. But what totally blew my mind about this is that when the Clintons moved to Westchester in New York, after they retired from the presidency and she wanted to run for New York City Senate, they moved to this little town in, I believe it was Westchester, this nice neighborhood. And in the news, they had this news report one night. Oh, and right down the block are these, is a housing unit for Chechen refugees from Chechnya. And they had these guys who were fighting over there in Serbia and stuff like that, in these, U.S.-funded wars, which the Chechens are Muslim. They're just like the Al-Qaeda. It's the same group of guys that we have, and they were fighting on our side over there. And they had like a halfway house of these guys living right down the block from Clinton over there. So like Clinton had his own hit team right around the corner, which reminds me of something else, too. It always struck me as interesting, is Ronald Reagan used to fly around on Ronald Reagan had a friend, okay, and they used to call him. It wasn't Vietnamese. It was they called him a Cambodian freedom fighter. And this guy was a Cambodian. He fought in Cambodia, and he killed like 1,000 people in Cambodia. And this guy was by Reagan's side 24 hours a day. And they only showed him one time on Air Force One, creeping his head around the window. And they showed him peering out the window, looking around, and peering back into Air Force One. So Reagan was traveling around with a full-time hitman, a full-time killer. And here you had Clinton with these Chechen murderers, man, right around the block from him. So we were just, Tina, we lost you there for a second?
Yeah, that's not my name, but I'll go by that. It's fine. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Okay, wait a second then. Who is this calling then?
This is Bob.
What?
I know Bob. I know you. Bob from Arizona. But who's the other caller, the woman?
Oh, Kirsten.
Kirsten. Okay, so then Kirsten, you're not on Facebook with me then, right?
No, I'm not on Facebook.
Okay, all right, then it's somebody else. Okay. All right, I'm losing it.
Well, this is what I found,
Yeah.
Ed, is that when you get into these conspiracy theories, then some of them will turn into a conspiracy. And essentially I've come to the conclusion is that there's just these huge mafia groups, meaning not Italian, but just like mafia, running around all over the place, engaging in all kinds of trafficking. And it boils down to, well, we're going to fight this family, and we're going to bump this guy off, because if we don't bump this guy off, he's going to do that to my buddy over there. And that's what goes on.
Yeah. I'll tell you,
Does
Bob,
that make sense?
Yeah, it does, Bob. Okay, because you got to remember, you talk about mafia or organized crime. I was in the nightclub business in New York City in the 80s at a time when this was a controlled business, and it was so corrupt on so many different levels. You guys, you can't imagine. Now,
I believe you. I believe you. Because I know in my own little studies that I've done on the Chechens, they have been in and out of wars and survival, that all they are is just many psychopaths running around. And you can get them to do anything. You just point them in the direction, and they'll go kill them.
You know what? I totally agree with that as well. But the point I was getting to about when I was in the nightclub business, we dealt with guys when I was in the nightclub business, okay? And everybody kind of knows I was doing all this stuff too. But the thing is, okay, so when I was in the nightclub business, we were dealing with people like Giuliani and Mark Green, people running for mayor, people running for for public office, like big shots, our senator. Everybody knew what we were up to. These guys were just as corrupt as we were. There was no secrets, and they were racist too, man. You sit around the table with these guys, they're all making racist jokes and all kinds of stuff. Bunch of crooks, and we would pay off both parties. We had to donate to both parties in order to function in New York and pay everybody off. And even within, we got our butts kicked, and they kicked us out ultimately with all that. But
well, if you add right now, they say the ones that are worse than the Chechens are the Albanians. Because that's where, allegedly, they take the Afghan heroin, fly it in on Air Force planes into Albania for its distribution throughout Europe. So you go figure, Ed, go figure. Along that route, there's going to be dead over the place.
Yeah, I hear you, and there probably are.
Well, it's like I told you. I think I told you this story. My first introduction to all of this was many years ago. My father-in-law was involved in fusion, and he was going to get a project going, and his point man was a retired CIA covert agent. And I asked him, I said, Jim, I watched the movie Day of the Condor with, what is his name?
Robert Redford.
The movie, Robert Redford, yeah. And I said he portrayed an agent who was manning a listening post. And he decided to go get pizza for everybody. While he was gone, he came back and they were all dead. So I asked him the question. I said, does that happen within the CIA? And he said, and these were his exact words, any time a mission was botched, everybody died. And that is from the words of a covert agent. So if it's being told to me, how bad is it under that surface of where all of this stuff is going on?
Well, you know what? I'd like to talk about that a little bit. I'm going to take a little commercial break here now. If anybody wants to call in, 702-605-4894. If the two callers want to hang on the line for 5 minutes, you know how long the commercials are. Everybody complains about them. We're going to have a nice 4-minute break here, okay? So hang out on the line, guys. But if we talk over the commercials, the audience is going to hear us talking. So you guys want to mute up there and kind of be as quiet as you can. And we'll come back after this. I guess we're having a little roundtable here discussion here with Kirsten and my friend Bob from Arizona. Hey, Kirsten, where are you calling from? I think we lost Kirsten again. We did. Yeah, she keeps breaking off.
I'm sorry, my phone went dead. Sorry.
Kirsten, where are you calling from?
New York City.
New York City. Okay, guys, so both you guys, we're going to take a little commercial break here for 4 minutes. So try and mute up if you want to hang out. If anybody wants to call in later on, we'll do a little roundtable here, 702-605-4894, 702-605-4894. We'll be right back after these messages. Let's see if I can do this, because everything's all messed up. Everything's all kerfunkled. Okay, I'm going to play an ad there. Come on. Oh, boy. Come on, guys. Give me a break here. Oh, God, Zeus. Okay, here's what we'll do. Oh, boy. Yeah. Okay, we can play an ad here. Let's play that one. And now a word from our sponsors. We are listener-sponsored, and we appreciate your donations. If you like the show, please visit OppermanReport.com and click on the donate button. Or you can donate directly through PayPal at OppermanReport@gmail.com. We have Mike Ray of InfinityHomePlans.com. He's the host of Parlay over at CJ Mars Radio, Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you need custom home designs, stock plans, or 3D work, he's your one-stop shop for home design and drafting needs. Mike Ray at InfinityHomePlans.com. At InfinityHomePlans.com. If you're looking for essential oils, stop by and check out Essentially Tammy on Facebook. She is Young Living Essential Oils Independent Distributor. These are 100% therapeutic grade oils that help support the body's natural functions. Visit the website posted at Essentially Tammy to see the current deals, or email at JockoTammy, JOCATAMI@yahoo.com, or call 352-239-8546. 352-239-8546. Hey, if you need a private investigator, go to my website, emailreviewer.com. We offer asset searches, locates, skip tracing, adoption investigations, online infidelity investigations. We can recover deleted text messages from a cell phone or trace an email to online dating websites to catch people cheating. That's emailreviewer.com. You can call 800-572-9762. 800-572-9762 or email Pacific West Bamboo. It's your premier source for construction and craft-grade bamboo poles. They're announcing their latest project with EcoHead Event Sanitation, making bamboo composting bathrooms and porta potties. Their first display will be at the Lucidity Festival in Santa Ynez, California, April 11th to the 13th. Come by and say hi and see what you can build with bamboo. Contact them for any kind of event planning, display building. If you need construction grade or craft grade bamboo products, call Amanda at 503-839-8126, 503-839-8126, or visit PacificWestBamboo.com, their brand new website. We're also sponsored by the New World Mexican Women. This is a rural Mexican craft women's cooperative. They are traditional makers of fine handcrafted, authentic jewelry. They have a wonderful book of love letters written to their men in the United States, begging them to return to their families in Mexico. But they've written a new book, and it's it's about a young girl that falls in love with a rodeo bull rider and runs off with him without telling her family. It's a beautiful love story called Azucena Part 1, Azucena to the Rodeo. You can find their books and jewelry by clicking on their banner ad at OppermanReport.com or by Googling New World Mexican Women. You can also promote your business or website right here and have your ad played all over the world 7 days a week. OppermanReport@gmail.com or call 800-572-9762. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I am your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. The show is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. Get yourself a free audiobook. Blah, 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 blah. We're supposed to have Dave McGowan on tonight, and I'm just thinking, too, now, the two callers, we have two callers on the line with us. They were able to call in and get through, so I guess if Dave was trying to call in, he'd be able to get through. So he must have been feeling sick. Or under the weather or something like that. Probably took a nap right before the show and just passed out. Hey, but that's cool, man. Dave, we love you. Come on when you can. Maybe we can book this for next week. I don't have anybody booked for next week. So if you want to come back next week, great. We'll do that. Man, we love you, Dave. Dave's website is called Center for an Informed America. And our good friend Dave, he's been on here many, many times. And he's sick. He was diagnosed with cancer. And he's going through chemotherapy. And we just love him so much. We want to get an update from him. And the deal is, though, is you can imagine when you're going through this kind of thing, you can't work. Your family, you can't work. Dave runs a business. He runs a construction business. So it's physical work on top of everything. So we're asking that all of our listeners, please go to Dave's website, which is called Center for an Informed America. And there's a PayPal donation button at the top of that the website. So if you could please send Dave a donation. Otherwise, his books are called Program to Kill, Understanding the F Word, and Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon. Okay, and these are great books. They'd make great gifts. What do we have coming up? 4th of July. You want to give somebody a 4th of July gift? Give them Understand the F Word, because that's fascism. 4th of July gift, right? Yeah, you like that. Hey, you really want to laugh? Guess what, guys? I got a little announcement for you. Yours truly, Ed Opperman, host of the Opperman Report, has been named by My Vegas magazine as one of the top 100 men of Las Vegas. Okay? How do you like that? For fall 2015. In the fall, I'm going to be coming out in their magazine, 100 top guys in Vegas, and they're honoring me because of this radio show and all the work we're doing here. And so thank you, myvegasmagazine.com, and it'll be available on your newsstands, and we'll be taking pictures with that and putting out a press release and all kinds of fun stuff. So what happened was earlier in the year, I got an email saying that somebody nominated me to this thing. It was probably someone did it as a joke. And so I went to everyone and says, oh, man, vote for me, And then when it came out, I thought that I lost. But it turns out it wasn't until the fall. The top 100 men comes out in the fall. It was the women vote that came out earlier. So, yeah, I won. I don't even know if what number I come in the top 100. There could be 99 accidents out there to my competition. You never know to make it to number one. And the other thing, too, that's really funny is I got an email from the magazine because I had posted this on my Facebook saying, hey, guys, I was nominated, I was named the top 100. Someone emailed the magazine and said, hey, is this true? They thought I was making it up on Facebook. Okay. Well, those are the kind of listeners I got, man. My lawyer, those are my pals. They're verifying my information. They probably think I'm a crisis actor. So anyway, we're here with Kirsten from New York and Bob from Arizona. So guys, what else is on your mind tonight?
I wanted to ask you, what's the status with the Courtney Love press release?
The status is, I'm trying to get somebody to write it, okay, and help me out here and write the damn thing for me, because I'm just so busy, that I can't get anything done. And then we got hit with this crazy me and the ex-wife, we agreed. We had a deal, and pretty much Victoria negotiated the deal with her mom that I would get 5 days and she would get 2 days, and that's all we wanted. And she comes back, and I wrote it. I'm a paralegal, so I wrote up the whole thing. I wrote a stipulation in order. All they got to do is sign it. I wasn't asking for any money, no child support, no nothing. I said, keep all your money, We get the 5 days, you get the 2 days. A couple other little things in there, that just to clear things up. Back with this thing that's all about money. It's all about they want to pay me $400 a month. For what? I've been taking care of this kid for years and not getting a dime. Now all of a sudden they want to pay me for something that we could have agreed to a year ago. We spent so much money this whole year. So anyway, I'm swamped down with this thing here and going crazy with this. It's destroyed us financially. We're ruined. Trying to get back on our feet. It's just unbelievable. But so anyway, the Courtney Love press release.
How old is she? Your daughter, 13? 12, 13?
She's 14 years old. She'll be 15 in November. The kid has her own radio show. Right now she's at a 3-day church retreat where she's, praying over there, for people. She's in the gifted class. She's taking AP. She's the only freshman in a really nerdy school. She goes to Coral Academy of Science, which is a school of nerds. It's a what do you call a magnet school. Okay, so you got to be a bright kid to get in there to begin with, and was the only she was the freshman. There's one freshman AP class, and she was accepted to that class. She's on the debate team. She does all that stuff. Gifted kid, man, in every possible way. Athlete, and
beautiful too. Yeah,
I know, popular, with everyone, boys, girls, everybody. But the system, when Vegas courts, man, this Clark County family court, it's all about money and going in there and paying off these judges and stuff. And we're just getting screwed galore. And they size you up. They see how much money you got, how much you're worth, and then they milk you dry. We paid $8,000 to this custody evaluator. This guy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And anyway. So the Courtney Love thing.
I went with my...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I went with my friend one time to family court, and it was like something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. It's a horror scene over there.
Oh, you couldn't imagine.
It's awful.
And there was
People don't imagine. It's like this hidden world over there in family court. It's awful.
It's so true, and it's probably the most corrupt court there is. And I was actually in front of this judge where my wife's lawyer and the judge are making fun of my book. The fact that I published a book. They're ridiculing my book in court. Openly, in front of everybody. That, I was beaten down so bad in that courtroom that day that when I walked out of there, everybody sitting in the audience couldn't believe it. This judge was polite with every other litigant in there the whole day. I had to sit there all day long. I get up there, man, and they beat the crap out of me. But we keep fighting. We keep moving forward. We keep pushing forward. We don't give up.
Yeah, probably because you're educated,
Well,
they just want people who are, uneducated and,
who the hell knows?
Nightmare.
Who the hell knows?
But I was always wondering why Courtney Love was in Epstein's book, when Gawker published, Epstein's Black Book, and there's Courtney Love's name, and you're looking at it going, what is that? She's not an underage girl. She's not a mogul, really.
No, but she was also on the plane.
What is she doing in the book? She's a madam. Thank you for answering that question.
Right. She was flying around on the plane. Now, did you listen to that show in the member section?
Yes.
Okay.
The one with her father, Hank Harrison?
Yeah. Brandon's show, it's up in the member section. And by the way, too, another thing we're working on is Hank Harrison said we can come down to his farm over there, his ranch, and tape him, videotape an interview with him and his wife about his whole life story. This guy's got some life story besides Courtney Love, man, with the electric Kool-Aid acid test, all that kind of stuff, and knowing Owsley and all those LSD guys and the Grateful Dead. So he says we can come.
His perspective was interesting.
Oh, yeah. So I'm applying for a grant to get funding. to set up a little film company to go down there and make a documentary film about that and some other topics.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, good
because it's just interesting that she's doing all this, she's putting all these cease and desist letters out to try to get that soaked in bleach film stopped. And it says the conspiracy theory, Kurt Cobain's death has been widely debunked. And I thought that was so funny. I was like, I don't even think you could debunk that theory. It's pretty, there's nothing really to debunk. Like, how did someone take a massive overdose of heroin, or even if he had a really high habit, which he had just come from a rehab, I don't know how you get it that high in 3 or 4 days, and then kill yourself with a shotgun with a bullet going the wrong way. It's a little hard to debunk that,
Well, yeah, and when even the retired police chief from Seattle, says, yeah, I'd reopen the case. What more do you want, But, yeah, she's...
These are serial whacks. These aren't like fringe people, These
Right.
are pretty mainstream, famous people saying that there's something terribly wrong with that case. And it's shocking when you read it. It's a really shocking case when you look at the facts. But it's interesting to see how the media can be controlled so much, just with the spin on it, that it's this wild theory and that, that there's nothing to it,
Yes, so much of the media is controlled by these press agents that have so much power. And someone like Courtney Love, she knows how to play those games. And then when you hear how Hank Harrison is talking about her connection to these CIA agents, that were his friends.
Oh, yeah.
And she's dating this guy as a kid, and he's an adult, So none of that's come out before. Neither one of those allegations about her being involved in child sex trafficking and also her having an underage sexual relationship with an adult CIA agent, which I think is pretty interesting information.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but
okay.
Especially because every time a woman criticizes Courtney Love, she comes back and says, I'm really upset that a woman would show so much misogyny as to criticize me. No, it's always from a point of any kind of criticism of her is because she's a woman, and it's women hating. The same thing. It's like a Yoko Ono thing. You can't hate Yoko Ono. It's because you hate women, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So to say that to the fact that she was pimping out women is even more disgusting from someone who spouts all this feminist rhetoric. It makes it doubly revolting to me.
Well, it's amazing how people can use this political correctness, as it's such a heavy, powerful tool. Even with this whole thing, like you got this shooting 9 people. They shoot 9 people in a church. 9 people got killed. Oh, it's about the flag. And somehow they change it to about a flag and take the flag down. It's just so bizarre, how they twist everything like that.
But is it just being reduced to its, dumbest level, how Obama ran on the word hope? This is the hope candidate. Are we really that stupid that it has to be reduced to a word? He's for hope. He's for change. Which, what does that even mean? And so, this kind of shooting gets reduced to just, we'll take down the flag. Maybe, is it because... Then I think it's just because it's something that we can do. Makes us feel like we're doing something. I don't know.
Wait, you're right. It's so bizarre. Because they show us these shocking images and these tragedies. And then, we have to do something. Let's create a law or take down a flag or something silly. And another thing, too, that kind of applies to that. And by the way, if you listen to the show with Neil Sanders, who talks about mind control and hitting it all fast.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's great, right? He opened up my eyes to so many things.
That was a great show.
And it's the same, this whacked out thing that we need to take some kind of action to make ourselves feel better and feel relieved. And you got these commercials on TV all the time, these infomercials. One is for the Humane Society. And they show you these animals all beaten up with bloody, and these sad-looking animals with the sad music, And all you got to do is donate $20 a month. We're going to give you this T-shirt, and we can stop animal abuse before it happens. I don't know how the hell you can do that. And then the other one is the Wounded Warriors. Our wounded warriors, they come home and they're and we'll get $20 a month, and we're going to fix all this for them. And you get a T-shirt or a blanket, like Michael Jackson, giving you a blanket. Now, first of all, why the hell isn't the government taking care of these people? What do you need $20 from me? This guy works for the government, But they play the music, and everyone. What the hell is going on? Ah, God Almighty! I think I got. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I got to get out of this country.
Go ahead.
I got to get out of here.
I know. It makes you. It's so demoralizing. That's why I wonder if these things are just to demoralize us. These, all this concentration on these violent events. In the media, but part of me thinks it's just a money-making. The media knows that people will tune into stuff like that, and half of me thinks that they're continuing it because if we just didn't mention these people's names, these shooters all follow each other, We make them into celebrities by saying their name, by, photographing them in a vest coming from, with all these security guards around them, and other crazy people, think that they're celebrities and follow them into these, mass shootings,
Yeah, I know what you mean. The whole mass shooting thing is really, the whole phenomenon is weird. And we tried to explore that a bit with Nathan Andrews, who's he's one of the buddies with Dave McGowan there in the Dave McGowan. In fact, he's the moderator of the Dave McGowan group there, the Weird Things Inside the Canyon discussion group on Facebook. And we did a show about that first school shooting, that girl who did it down in San Diego, and then they wrote the song "I Don't Like Mondays" about it. This is back in 1974.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's great content in there, I tell you. And but the whole school shooting thing is bizarre to begin with, And then when you look at the origins of it, and a song comes out about it right afterwards. And this obscure group, the Boomtown Rats, comes out with this one song. It's the only song about the Boomtown Rats that they've done. And then he becomes a knight. He's Sir Boomtown Rats. His daughter's involved in the OTO. Peaches Geldof. He becomes head of a charity. What the hell's going on there?
And he's also he's also involved in the Survivor franchise. He invested all this money. He's like one of the into the people that created the Survivor TV show, which isn't, to me that is just such a terrible, that's not I guess someone who knew more about Crowleyism or something, but the show Survivor, you're out for yourself, you're not working in a group, the most cutthroat wins, to kind of promote that philosophy is really disgusting. And then his daughter joins Scientology, and then she joins the OTO, and then she ends up dead.
I didn't know she was in Scientology, too.
Yes. She was a Scientologist, and then she joined the OTO. You're thinking, did she just make the worst decisions in the world? But I read his autobiography, and it was so, as a teenager, after he'd done Live Aid, he wrote this thing called is that all there is, or is that it? And it was such a odd, disconnected, for someone who had devoted so much time to charity work, he was so narcissistic and cold and
I got to interrupt.
Uncompassionate, not compassionate.
We got to take another. There's a hard break at 6:00 where Talk Superstation plays news. So we got to take a break. We'll be right back after this. And now a word from our sponsors. We are listener-sponsored, and we appreciate your donations. If you like the show, please visit operamingreport.com and donate. You can donate directly to PayPal at operamingreport@gmail.com. With Mike Ray, you can find him at use the host of Parlay on CJ Radio, Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Custom home designs, stock plans for your work. He's your one-stop shop for home design and event plans. At infinityhomeplans.com. If you're looking for essential oils, stop by and check out Essentially Tammy on Facebook. She is Young Living Essential Oils Independent Distributor. Now, these are 100% therapeutic grade oils. They help support the body's natural functions. Visit her website posted on Essentially Tammy to see the current deals, or email at JockoTammy, JOCATAMI at yahoo.com, or call 352-239-8546. 352-239-8546. Asset searches, locates, sequencing, adoption investigations, online text messages on cell phone, or tracing email to online data websites. It's email and direct.com. Call 800-572-9762. 800-572-9762. Email and direct.com. That website. Pacific West Bamboo. It's your premier source for construction and craft-grade bamboo poles. They're announcing their latest project with EcoHead Event Sanitation, making bamboo composting bathrooms and porta potties. Their first display will be at the Lucidity Festival in Santa Ynez, California, April 11th and 13th. Come by and say hi and see what's going on. Contact me for any kind of event planning, scheduling, construction work, craft work, bamboo products. Call at 503-839-8126, 503-839-8126, or visit PacificWestBamboo.com, their brand new website. We're also sponsored by the New World Mexican Women. This is a rural Mexican craft women's cooperative. They're traditional makers of fine handcrafted, authentic jewelry. These beautiful stone mosaics and Pacific blue Abilene inlay. They have a wonderful book of love letters written to their men in the United States, begging them to return to their families in Mexico. But they've written a new book, and it's called, it's about a young girl that falls in love with a older lady and runs off with him to Azukina, Part 1, Azukina. You can find their books and jewelry by clicking on the banner at OperaManReport.com or by Googling New World Mexican Women. You can also promote your business or website right here and have your ad played all over the world 7 days a week by emailing OperaManReport@gmail.com or calling 800-572-9762. Welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman, and Top 100 Men of Las Vegas. I got to figure out how to put that in there. That's a show brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com, Opperman Report, and get yourself a free audiobook. Hey, you know what? Well, during the commercial break, someone subscribed to the members section. They went to OppermanReport.com, and they went there and subscribed, and they got a monthly subscription for $6. And I got to tell you something. You know, guys, you have no idea how encouraging that is, you know, to see someone subscribe or make a donation or something like that. Even if it's only, you donate $1, you know. You're going along during the week, you're feeling down. You know, you think, boy, is all this worth it? Does anybody care about what we're doing? You know, and just to get that or to subscribe to the Opperman Report YouTube channel, just those kind of things, it's encouraging, and that's what keeps us going, you know? Because I got to tell you, man, there's a lot of crap that goes on behind the scenes you wouldn't believe. Everyone thinks that the truth movement, the awake movement, or whatever you want to call it, is like everybody fighting for the same thing here. It's not. It's a lot of backbiting and nonsense goes on that you wouldn't believe, and all kinds of crap. We're just joined by Justin Cook, who looks looks exactly like Osama bin Laden. You would be amazed at the pictures of this guy. Justin, what's on your mind?
How much I look like Osama bin Laden?
yeah, the picture.
Maybe if I ate Osama bin Laden. Not much. I was just calling in. I heard you doing a little round table, or you're around tonight, whatnot. Figured Dave didn't show up, so but I'd call in and see what you guys are talking about, and
Justin, your picture on Skype is Osama bin Laden. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
that's an old picture back when back when they were pushing the narrative of was it 2011 when they pretended to kill him in Afghanistan or Pakistan or whatever.
Yeah, it's amazing how he got younger looking.
Oh yeah. What was that? Bin Laden number 5 or something like that.
Well,
I think they showed us 3 or 4 different actors at least. Post 9/11. So.
Well, I've told the story a couple of times, and that is when I first got into cell phone forensics. The guys, because cell phone forensics is fairly new. It came out around 2000, where you could download the information from a cell phone and create a report and recover deleted text messages and clone phones and all kind of stuff. And the guys who I got involved in, they started their own company because they were working as civilian contractors for the U.S. military and for the Central Intelligence Agency. Okay, and their job was they had cloned Obama's satellite phone. These were the guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these were the guys doing this. I know these guys. I know them like as regular guys, And they were they were in Afghanistan. They'd attack a house. They get the phones. They right there on laptops, right there. In a tent, they'd be working on the phones. So these guys were called out of Afghanistan in 2003, or it might have been 2002, and came back to the United States. They were no longer needed in this hunt, and they came here and they started this cell phone forensics business. Now I got to tell you something, and these guys, these are not slouches. That when I had another thing going on with the Sarah Palin case, and so I said to them, I says, "Hey, listen, you give me some free software, I'll mention you when I'm doing my press tours on Sarah Palin," and I put up my press release and stuff. And I says, "Oh great, let's do it." They says, "Well, when are you coming down for the training? Coming down to Virginia?" And I said, I don't know." He says, "Well, when you come down, we'll take you over to Langley, and you can meet David." And I says, "Oh, boy, that'd be really cool. Thanks a lot." So I says, "David, who the fuck are they talking about?" Excuse me. I says, "Who are they talking about?" And they were talking about David Petraeus, the director of the CIA. Yeah, they know him. Okay.
Jesus.
I know. But they were called off this job at a maximum 2003. That's when I met them in 2003 at a PI convention.
So that seems like Benazir Bhutto's timeline would seem more correct than the other timeline we were given. The other so-called conspiracy theory where they were saying December of 01. If it was up to 03, I think that's when Benazir Bhutto, she made this speech around 04 or so, saying that Bin Laden was dead or whatever. So,
well, these guys had already left and had started this business and were in Vegas for the convention, for the PI convention here in Vegas in 2003. So it could have been any time before then that they had left Afghanistan. I don't know exactly when. But again, another thing that Bob from Arizona was saying about how he was talking to this guy who's a CIA operative who's killing all these people. At these PI conventions and in the PI news groups and the PI stuff, there's a lot of guys that were ex-defense intelligence and naval intelligence and central intelligence. There's tons of guys out there that worked for CIA, tons of them, And they
right. Well, I'm sure they have their own little contractors that might not even have a CIA badge, but they do work for them or whatever on the side as well, or something like that. Correct?
Right. But what I'm trying to say is that all these guys, just because you hear somebody on the radio saying that they're former CIA or something like that, and they have some kind of top secret information, none of these guys have top secret information, and they're in the PI business. They're still working and using their contacts and their sources, and there's a lot more people you think are doing this kind of work.
It's compartmentalized like everything else.
Right, and they don't have access to secret underground military bases. Information
right.
Even the NSA. The NSA is the biggest employer in Maryland. They're the number one biggest company employer in Maryland. The NSA, by the way, too, it's total surveillance and eavesdropping. It's all computer tech work. They don't have
right. Most of it is done by keywords or whatever. Say, by what was that program? I forget the old program that they were using to, that would make the NSA line pick up or whatever when you said bomb or said whatever word or whatever.
Promise.
I think Promise was the one I can't think of it, but it was the first all-encompassing program that supposedly did something like that.
Yeah, you hear these things, But my point is that it's a lot more mainstream than people think. And by the way, too, NSA has no field agents. They don't have field agents running around with guns. They got security guards at the gate over there, down there. Sure, they got that. But they don't have field agents like the FBI infiltrating and doing COINTELPRO type activities. None of that. It's all spying and eavesdropping. And how this in this alternative media, the FBI and undercover FBI agents who do COINTELPRO and do sabotage and infiltrate and disrupt things, got replaced by this NSA myth that somehow the NSA is fiddling with our stuff. I don't know how that came up, because you never meet anybody at PI conventions who were former NSA, because these guys don't do detective work. They're not operatives. They're not detectives. They're not investigators. They're not researchers. You find them from IRS, former IRS investigators, former FBI agents, former CIA, but you never meet a former NSA guy, because they don't do this kind of work. It's just not there. It doesn't exist. So when you hear these people on the radio talking about this kind of crap, they're full of it.
Right. Well, that's kind of the like Alex Jones fodder type stuff anyway, where it's like, we got an ex-CIA agent on the line,
right.
What, but obviously, I'm sure you've, being in your line of work, you've come across a lot more of these types that are, just contractors and everything else. There's probably not, I'm sure they sheep their people all the time too, but like you said, not everybody is a card-carrying, CIA guy or whatever. And even then, it's compartmentalized.
Yeah, even then, if you're a card-carrying CIA guy, I've never met a card-carrying CIA guy who can tell me about bases on Mars and all this kind of stuff you hear about. Supposedly, like everyone who worked on the program, the jump rooms and all this stuff, they all went to alternative media. They can't even get a job anywhere on iHeart. Right. I'm on freaking iHeart. I'm nobody, These guys can't do it. It's crazy. So much of this stuff out there is just crazy.
Well, that's the problem, I think, with the so-called conspiracy movement. It's that, everybody, I don't know, some of these people might be legitimately crazy, and the rest of them are just con men, as far as that goes, where it's like, they can, maybe they know something, or they heard a little something, or a lot of times they may even just get disinformation, even if they, are in the field or whatnot, too, because, you're not going to tell some guy who may, run his mouth after, this, that, or the other thing. Like, it makes no sense.
Almost everybody I've talked to, too, that was CIA, their jobs was paying people off, was paying people and putting ads in the newspaper and getting demonstrators to show up and stuff like that. Very little assassination stuff. That last week we had on St. John Hunt. Obviously, assassinations happen. But again, it's by that little elite group of guys that even St. John was talking about, like those little the Operation 40, those kind of guys.
Right.
But like what goes on,
like you said, the regular ones are, it's more of a counter movement type thing. If they want to, support, say, whatever feminist movement or any of these new movements that pop up, that, like you said, they'll, get a few people and pay them, or, whatever Soros is working on, or, whoever the case may be. But
well, one guy I can think of specifically, his job was to buy off nuclear scientists all around the world. That he would find nuclear scientists who were capable of building nuclear weapons in other countries, and pay them off, to either leave the country or come to the United States, or just not do your work over there, or whatever. And that was that was his deal.
That if you think about it, it's a lot easier than killing someone too. Especially if you're working with unlimited budget, or whatever the case may be. And someone's in a country where they're worried about their next meal, or whatever the case may be, or they want to get a little more luxurious in life. Well, here you go. Here's $100,000 or $200,000 or $1 million, whatever it is. It's no skin off their back to do that.
Yeah, and in Venezuela, the CIA was paying protesters to come up and protest in the street, and not even that much money, right? $15 a day, $20 a day, which is the same thing too that Donald Trump just did, by the way, too. At his presidential announcement, he hired.
They got $50.
Yeah, they got $50, man, to show up there. That was on. It was casted too. I saw the casting on Reality Wanted. They were casting people to show up at an event. So
isn't that what the Beatles did as well? When they showed up at the airport with all the screaming teens and everything, wasn't that? I believe I read somewhere that was the same thing where they didn't pay them. I think they just took a few schools worth of girls or whatever and told them to go there and scream.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. And we had Alan A. Bell on our show, who, by the way, man, is a legend. He was a legendary hoaxer. Did all those big hoaxes. Used to hoax the news media in New York City all the time. And the audio wasn't that great on the show. It's a shame because he's a big hero of mine. I love this guy. I used to watch him when I was a kid in New York City. And when he did a movie, what he did was he hired people to stand on line at the movie theater, and all the line went around the block, so that everybody would say, "Hey, what the hell is that movie? Why is it so good? Why does everybody want to see that movie?" And he was great at that kind of stuff, As a matter of fact, there's a movie about him you could find. I think you can find it on online for sure for free about Alan A. Bell. I think it's called Cain and Abel, something like that. And a great,
I've heard that.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. I really like him. He's a legend. He's a guy who's going to get down in history. And he's another guy, too. We have all these opportunities to do these documentaries. He's one guy that said to me, he says, "Hey, Ed, man, I got a whole storage locker full of stuff. You can come down here. You can go through it. We can do it, we can do it together." Dr. Judith Reisman, when we would start, she was the woman who came out against the Kinsey report and Kinsey and exposed him. And when we started talking to her about involvement in Satanism and stuff like that, she says, "Oh yeah, Alan, Kenneth Anger used to hang out there up in his attic. They did movies together, and he was an advocate of Crowley. And this guy was traveling around trying to get Crowley's diary." So no one else had ever asked her this stuff before. And when I started talking to her about this stuff, she said to me, "Ed, come down and go through no one's gone through this kind of material in my library. You can come down and have full access to the library." St. John Hunt said the same thing. He got a storage locker. He wants me to come down. We got historical stuff here, man. We can be doing. Oh, we need a little bit of funding, a little bit of get me a car. Let me try. Talk about being under attack, man. They got my car from me. But we got great opportunity, and to really make history here, and to really get some good stuff, information out there. Coming up, too, we have in a couple of weeks, we have one of the survivors from Waco is going to be coming on the show. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, and we're taking the time. We're doing the groundwork, and we're getting the historic figures. So really excited about a lot of stuff going on here.
Well, we definitely pulled some great guests on here. I got to say, as far as, one-stop shop, for this type of material, I definitely got to say, they're pretty much every one of your guests that I see you talking about on Facebook is somebody where it's like, hey, I want to hear what that guy's, got to say about this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah, I hear you. We found a niche. We found a niche that people are looking for that they don't want to have to deal with. You did a great Alex Jones impersonation there before. I don't want to deal with that voice. I can't. When I'm doing research.
Well, you know what? I've got the documents.
Yeah, I can't listen to him, man. I can't even when I'm doing research and a guest. I couldn't listen to St. John Hunter. I listened to every other interview he did. I couldn't listen to him on Alex Jones.
Do you ever notice when Alex Jones has a really good guest on, like occasionally he'll have just a really good guest on, he'll never have enough time, and he'll be like, "This is amazing information. We're gonna get you back. We're gonna get you back." And they never come back on ever. They never have enough time, but they have like 4 hours for David Icke or whatever else.
You know what's crazy about that too is you're 100% right, and he also steers the conversation where the person may actually be getting into something very good, very topical, and then he'll go and steer him away to something totally, obnoxious, ridiculous that really, he'll start talking about fluoride or start talking about chemtrails or something, it's like, really, you have this guest on here where it's like, how many people would love to talk with this person and get their information, and you're worried about the New World Order's coming through with, come on, it's insane. It's a circus, It's like it really. And a lot of people, sure, they started there, but once you get serious into this, into this stuff, we all know about that stuff. What's true, what isn't, that's up for everybody's, own interpretation and whatnot. But the stuff like that, it's just, I don't know. I can't listen to that and the fear mongering and for. I think I'd say I've been so-called awake about 10 years now, and I'm still waiting for this world war that's supposed to start in today, and the people getting hauled off the. There's no reason to do that because first off, why would they get rid of the worker bees that are running the system? Exactly. And second off, it's like they don't need to do that when they have the psyops going on full stream, and there's no reason to go and kidnap everybody and put them on a red list or a blue list or whatever the hell he's talking about. But, people get lost in that stuff for a while, and it's like, and you know what happens too is you get cut off from everything else, and you start living that, and it's like, I notice where your listeners I talked to in Dave's group and also in the Maury Terry group, and it's a lot more grounded people that. And the knowledge is a lot, it's a lot more, everybody has pretty much the same base knowledge, unless somebody, specializes in one thing or another, but for the same, we're all on the same page for the most part, and that's what I like about, about all the people that, are in these groups and whatnot, it's.
I'll tell you this, you talk about this stuff about the internment camps and the FEMA camps. It's fun because I'm old enough. I remember when they created FEMA. I remember when Jimmy Carter created FEMA, and I said, "Boy, that's suspicious to me." Now you hear about this stuff. Now FEMA's the Nazi death camp, and Jade Helm and all this stuff. But if you look at the people we have on this show, a lot of the people we have on this show have been to prison. Ramona Africa, Lorenzo Cambawa Irvin, had 2 life sentences. Ramona Africa, they tried to kill her at Move. They shot her when she was escaping from a burning building. Then they gave her 15 years on top of that. Okay. Now none of these people.
That whole Move situation. Oh. In fact, maybe I'll go listen to that tonight. But that was insane. They dropped a bomb on these people. It's middle of Philadelphia.
But you notice that these kind of people are not running around like chickens with their heads off, saying, "Oh, Jade Helm is the coming martial law." None of them are saying that. And these are the guys that are on the front line that are going to be the first ones to get scooped up if anything does happen. Okay? When these people start getting scared, that's when I'm going to be scared. And
right, real revolutionaries.
The real ones, not these characters, Oh, my Skype's not working. The NSA is attacking me. Oh,
yeah.
Oh. Oh my God,
I run across these types on Facebook all the time too, and I used to do radio, so I see a message by them all the time. Hey, can you have me on and have my story on? I'm a targeted individual, and they're zapping me through the walls, and I'm not saying that 100% of those people are lying, but for the most part, when you listen to them, really? Come on, you have an implant. There's a guy next door that's hitting you with a microwave every. I don't know. It really doesn't pass the smell test. Sure they're capable of that if they wanted to, but like I said, there's no reason for that. They have us with the television. They don't need to do all this other stuff.
No, because as a private investigator, I get those calls all the time, man. Because I do a couple of things. I invented a technique to monitor your email account. That if anybody's spying on your emails, I could see someone logging into your email account and reading your emails. And also with the cell phone forensics, we can see if there's activity. If there's spyware on your phone, we can see it. Because they have to transmit back out of the phone, back to somewhere else if there's to read your text messages. We'll see that transmission, either as a phone call or a text or an email. And that exists. Every time I get one of these calls from these people, who say to me, I'm being spied on 24 hours a day, when I leave my house and they're there, and I say something on the phone and they're typing, first thing I'll say is, listen, who do you know that has $100,000 a month to pay for this kind of operation against you? Because we can figure out right now who's doing it, because the kind of money you're talking about to put together, you need 20 guys monitoring this equipment 24 hours a day to do this kind of job you're talking about. And all those clients, man, I hate to say it, they all turn out to be the most difficult ones and the most impossible to deal with. You practically just got to turn them down, man, because it's just if they're totally nuts, you got to turn them down. But even the ones that you think maybe there's something going on, they got an ex-husband or something. Because on the other hand, back in the old days when we were doing the getting copies of people's phone bills, we had boyfriends and husbands that were spying on their girlfriends month after. They were buying their phone bill every month after month after month, and going through every phone call that these girls are making. So people, who have the money, there are obsessed people out there who do spy and wiretap and all kinds of stuff. It's out there for sure. But I know you're talking about.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's it's a lot of money to do that. And even saying this, even as far as law enforcement goes, I've been on the shadier side of things, and I do think at one point, I was under investigation and had a phone tap back, about over 10 years ago or so. But really, I don't think it lasts so long, and for two, it's a lot of manpower. It's a lot of there's no reason for that type of thing. I mean, unless you're Pablo Escobar or something like that, it's.
I worked on those big organized crime cases back in the 80s. I listened to those FBI tapes, and I know what they're capable of doing. There was an occasion where my phone was tapped in New York City. I caught them red-handed. I picked up my phone. It was no dial tone. I was living in a condo, a 3-story condo. I went right down to the phone room. I knew right where my phone lines were because we had marked it with a magic marker to check and see if there's any extra equipment on there. I saw that that the wires were disconnected right there. I left because I had a key to the phone room too, and I left there. And there was a guy sitting in a station wagon, looking straight ahead, sitting there in the parking lot. And I went over and I knocked on the window. I says, "Hey man, what's going on? Were you in that room? What's going on?" He looked straight ahead, wouldn't acknowledge me. I go back upstairs. 10 minutes later, I pick up the phone. The wire's been attached back to the thing. I go down. Yeah, I go back down to the room again, and I go down there, and it's back. It's hooked up again. So but what are you gonna do? Anyway, listen, real quick, let's take another little commercial break. Guys, if you're complaining about the static on the commercials, I can't help you with that. There's nothing I can do. Okay, guys? Just, turn down your volume. So everyone kind of mute up. We'll take a little 5-minute break here. We'll be back with more of the Opperman Report, the top 100 men in Las Vegas. More after this. And now a word from our sponsors. We are listener-sponsored, and we appreciate your donations. If you like the show, please visit OppermanReport.com and click on the donate button. Or you can donate directly through PayPal at OppermanReport@gmail.com. We have Mike Gray from TrinityHomePlans.com. He's the host of Parlay over at CJ Mars Radio. He is in evenings 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you need custom home designs, stock plans, or community work, he's your one-stop shop for home design and drafting needs. Mike Gray from TrinityHomePlans.com. If you're looking for essential oils, stop by and check out Essentially Tammy on Facebook. She is a Young Living Essential Oils independent distributor. Now, these are 100% therapeutic oils. They help support the body's natural functions. You can visit her website posted on Essentially Tammy to see the current deals, or email at JocoTammy, JoCaTami@yahoo.com, or call 352-239-8546. 352-239-8546. Hey, if you need a private investigator, go to my website, emailreviewer.com. We offer asset searches, locates, skip tracing, adoption investigations, online infidelity investigations. We can recover deleted text messages from a cell phone or trace an email to online dating websites to catch people cheating. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can call 800-572-9762. 800-572-9762, or email revealer.com, my PI website. Pacific West Bamboo is your premier source for construction, craft wood, bamboo poles. They're announcing their latest project with Eco-Head Advanced Sanitation, making bamboo compost for bathrooms and toiletries. Their first display will be at the Lucidity Festival in Santa Ynez, California, April 11th and 13th. Come by and say hi and see what they're doing. Contact them. They have event planning, display building. If you need construction grade or crafted bamboo products, call me at 503-826, 503-826, or visit PacificWestBamboo.com website. We're also sponsored by the New World Mexican Women. This is a authentic jewelry. They use beautiful stone mosaics and Pacific blue Abilene inlay. They have a wonderful book of love letters written to their men in the United States, begging them to return to their families in Mexico. But they've written a new book, and it's about a young girl that falls in love with a rodeo bull rider and runs off with him without telling her family. It's a beautiful love story called Azucena Part 1, Azucena to the Rodeo. You can find their books and jewelry by clicking on their banner ad at OppermanReport.com or by Googling New World Mexican Women. You can also promote your business or website right here and have your ad played all over the world 7 days a week by emailing oppermanreport@gmail.com or calling 800-572-9762.